Welcome to another episode. This is episode 29. Today we've got a guest. He goes by the name of Johnny Arcade. Today we're going to be talking about Owen Benjamin and the cult of personality with content creators. So, anyway, hey Johnny, you want to introduce yourself, man?
Yeah, name's Johnny Arcade. Real name's Brian. That's about it. I don't really want to give a whole lot of other information,
No, you don't
but
have to do that.
it's out there to be found. You guys can find it.
Yeah, but yeah, so do you want to tell us a little bit about like your experience as an Owen Benjamin fan? From what I understand, you kind of know some of the original Bears as they're called.
Yeah, I'd say right about the time he started his um, his YouTube channel is when I started watching, and I got quickly pulled into a chat on Twitter with a few people, such as like Coddington, Delev, a few other bears that are considered like real close to Owen. Anyways, I made friends with them. Was friends with them for a long time. Made friends with Nimmer when he got introduced into the group, which was Owen's opener for a while, who got
Hmm.
outed for stolen valor. Anywho, there was a falling out with Nimmer, and I called him out on some lies and his stolen valor and harassing women. And the group turned. Owen used his voice to push the whole group of my friends away and make everybody not listen to us. And essentially, we fought with the Bears a little bit for a couple months and ended up leaving and just taking off, going doing our own things. The group that I'm associated with is called the DZ, or the Danger Zone, and it's a group of basically ex Bears who were also like well known people,
So now, were
and
you
they
were
all
you the guys that were getting banned for no reason?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say mm, it's a reason. The reason that they banned us was to keep us from talking about Eric Nimmer in the chat.
okay,
I even had Amy, Owen's wife, tell me to keep the Nimmer stuff out of the chat at one point.
okay,
But
yeah, yeah.
but
Because go ahead. Sorry.
oh, that all came out, and like again, they Owen used his voice to basically cut us off from the group. At that point, I say that, but we'd all left. But he used his voice to keep everybody from listening to us. And the Nimmer lie continued for a year.
Wow.
Uh,
So yeah, because when did the stolen valor info come out? Just a few months ago, right? About
yeah,
Nimmer.
yeah, the stolen valor stuff came out right when Owen falsely accused me of trying to poison his kid.
Okay, now what happened with that? Because I did see the footage. So I saw footage where somebody sent him a package of gummies that looked like dicks as a joke, and it was interesting because he read the packaging on it, and
Mhm.
it sounds like it came from like that legit website where you can order them from. So
Yeah.
it looked like it didn't look, suspicious. So it's kind of interesting how he kind of like laughed about it and all that. But I'm trying to figure out. I wonder why that story, why would he falsely, accuse people of poisoning him? Was it basically an attempt? Do you feel like it was an attempt where he was trying to just get you guys to leave him alone, or scare you guys out of talking about Nimmer?
Well, I think what had happened was, again, I was in the group that was close to him. I was in a chat with him,
Okay.
like a private chat. And so he knew very well who I was. And he knew very well that we were coming at Nimmer for a couple months, a year ago. So when we all disappeared and went and did our own thing, because we just, quite frankly, got tired of nobody listening to us, everybody slandering us, they were making fake accounts of me. I mean, Owen's social media manager, Coddington,
Yeah.
was making accounts with my actual picture on them and my name, saying that I harass women.
Wow,
So
that's crazy.
yeah, so I had like a personal beef with these guys, And at some point, I said to the rest of the DZ, I said, "Hey guys, we gotta cut this shit out. It's affecting all of our lives too much."
Mm-hmm.
So we all just walked away. 6 months later, uh, I'm basically notified that Owen's telling his audience that we sent poison.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I found Nightwave and I found Porcelain,
Okay.
and we started talking with them. And Mersh released the Nimmer information, and that just basically blew Owen out of the water. There was absolutely nothing he could do.
Yeah, and
Chuck,
to anybody who's listening, I mean, we could share a link in the description after this of the documentaries about Owen, but it actually was documented that Owen's basically his right hand man. Would you say Nimmer is his right hand man?
yeah, he
Yeah, yeah.
was self-described as his best friend.
Well, okay, so yeah, it actually has been documented that Nimmer was one of the Stolen Valor guys. I believe a couple of the bears or one of the bears didn't they reach out to somebody who investigates these sort of situations
Um,
or something like
the
that? They got documentation somehow.
Well, what happened was Chuck, Locomotive Breath, he's one of the DZ guys. He uh, he took it upon himself to get the FOIA request for Nimmer's DD-214 information, which is your release paperwork, which explains your release from the military. When he got that FOIA request, it showed that Nimmer never ever served, not a day, as a Marine. Now, Owen had introduced Nimmer the first time he ever introduced Nimmer, and we have clips of it. He introduced him as a four-tour Afghanistan veteran, and he had 9 confirmed kills. And he was 27 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Time goes by, and again, like I said, I got to know Nimmer, and none of his stories added up. None of his stories added up to anybody. So, kind of as a collective, um, the DZ came together and was like, somebody's got to say something about this, all of this. And we had a couple of other things going on that was personal shit with the Bears, but um, essentially we called him out on his stuff. And being Owen's self-proclaimed best friend and black opener, it was like killing Jesus, bro. Fucking people lost it. Sorry, I
Yeah.
don't know if I can curse on here.
No, no, no. It's fine. You can. But yeah. So it sounds like with the story and what I've watched, it just seems like when Owen maybe discovered this as well, he was too afraid of dealing with the ridicule. It sounds like is that what you're kind of thinking? I guess
Well,
only he could say, but yeah.
I think part of it is, and here's the thing: is I can't say that I honestly blame Owen 100% at
Mm-hmm.
that because
Because I'm
Nimmer,
sure like when he trusted Nimmer,
right?
I honestly think just from some of the things that I've heard Owen say, he probably was like, yeah, this guy's got good intentions. He's a good guy. So I'm sure like in the beginning he probably trusted him. But yeah,
Yes.
continue. I
So
interrupted you.
no, so in the beginning, yeah, he trusted him. Towards the end, I don't understand how he trusted him because I watched Nimmer on camera turn to Owen and say, "Yeah, dude, I got 23 confirmed kills, 4 tours in Afghanistan, 5 college degrees. I went to seminary school." It's like, bro, you live with your grandma. You and he's constantly bragging about this shit, and I've traveled around the world. He has no experience of the world,
Mm-hmm.
and to listen to him talk like he's traveled, it was just very telling. So, anyways, Owen should have known. He most definitely 100% should have known when Nimmer turned to him on camera and goes, "Yeah, I got 23 kills."
Mm-hmm.
After Owen introduced him as 9 kills. Beyond that, 4 tours of duty at 27 years old, it's not possible with 5 degrees. All Owen had to do was Google Nimmer's name, which is what the DZ did,
Right.
and you can find his college, which overlaps with what he said he was doing with the military. None of it added up. So, anyways, Chuck got the FOIA request, and it showed not only did he exaggerate his military service, but he actually didn't have any military service.
Yeah, if I understand correctly, didn't he undergo like training a little bit, or he like failed some tests and then was
No,
no?
what
Okay,
happened was he enrolled. He was put on a deferred program, and then he disenrolled
okay.
before ever going to a day of training.
Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of interesting because they're saying that like his quote unquote involvement was like under a year, and I was thinking to myself because at first I was like thinking it through, and it's pretty wild. You have a record that you weren't even there for a year, and then you're saying you did 4 tours. It's like because I saw a comment where one of his fans, and this comment was a little bit sad to read, but somebody sent him a donation saying that he was a Marine, and he was like, I lost 6 Marines and I lost my leg in Iraq. And he's like,
Yeah,
I'm a fan of yours. I've been watching you since the beginning, but there is no way that he did 4 tours in that amount of time.
yeah, I think that was like Pale Rider Bear or something like that.
Yeah, and so to me, like when I was hearing about this, like it's just like when you screw up, you need to own up to it, and the fact that you would kind of keep a lie going really sucks. And the thing that angers me a lot is a lot of his fans, they're hardworking blue collar dudes, and just to
Absolutely.
see, because to see some of his fans giving him hundreds of dollars in a super chat, like that money they fought and they bled for, and this guy's just kind of not taking it seriously or taking his fans seriously, and it's
I
just
mean,
like, go
did
ahead.
you see the homeless guy give him money?
Yeah, I saw a video about somebody who was almost like, what did he say? This was my last $5 or something.
What he did was he saved up money. The guy's homeless. Now I don't know if this is a troll or not.
Yeah, it could be a troll, but you're talking about his response, right?
But
Yeah,
yeah, he
yeah, yeah.
says I saved up money to buy a program for your homeschooling for your kid.
Okay.
I sent it to you. And Owen was like, "Oh," and he spiraled out, you know. He's like, "Oh, don't nobody send me anything anymore. I can't deal with this."
Yeah.
And then like the next week, he's got a $13,000 sauna in his backyard. That's how much that thing costs, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that.
No. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I think I saw something about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so or like 12 or 13, but anyways, yeah, so my problem with Nimmer and Owen is this. So if you go back to the episode Sweet Palestine, which was a year ago,
Okay.
you can see Owen go on stream, start slandering us, and saying these people need to be pushed out of the group. Nobody is to listen to them. Nobody's to talk to them. They should be forgotten about. They're lying about Nimmer. They're attacking him, slandering him. These people are pieces of shit. They're this, that, and the other. And he said all this stuff. He even said he was going to sue me.
Hmm.
Now, if you're going to defend Nimmer like that, and you are not willing to, I mean, just do a Google search on the guy, right? We didn't have to do the FOIA request to get the information. What we had to do the FOIA request for was so that we could send that to Steven Crowder and Steven Crowder's father, because that's who Chuck actually contacted. That's how this all came out.
Yeah, because I mean, this is wild because so like, Nimmer's lying about this, and I remember seeing the episode of Crowder when he was on there
Hmm.
saying that he served and did all this stuff. And it was kind of interesting. I mean, maybe I'm reading into it a little bit, but when he said, "Oh, I did recon," you could tell even Crowder seemed like he was like a little iffy, like a little creeped out by it, because that guy knows a lot of veterans and stuff like that, and so I'm sure
Well,
he's familiar with it. Go ahead.
here's the thing. Chuck had contacted Crowder and his dad previous or prior to that show. They
Okay.
knew.
Okay.
They knew. What had happened, I guess, and I'm assuming at this point from what I've heard out of Owen's mouth, because some of his stuff I can believe, some of it I can't. But this I will believe from him, is that Crowder asked Nimmer for his DD-214, and Nimmer's like, "I'll give it to you in a couple weeks. I'll get it to you." And it hadn't gotten there yet, and they shot the show, whatever. That's my best guess. But they knew. They'd been told. So what
Okay.
had happened with Owen and Crowder was like, "Hey, bro, I don't think your boy served." And Owen was like, "These fucking trolls that are saying that shit that have been doing this for a year." And Crowder's like, "Well, tell your boy to give us his information." So there's your fallout. Owen was backing this guy. Owen was financially invested in Nimmer, $10,000 and an AR-15.
Yeah.
He was also his traveling companion to do shows and open for him. He was at both of his child's births. He jumped on his kid's trampoline. I mean, if Owen had listened to us, it would have saved him a lot of fucking pain.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, there would probably be embarrassment and scrutiny, but I watch like a lot of different content creators and people that are kind of like trolls and stuff like that, and it's part of the game. Like no matter if you're gonna get in this game, you're gonna be on, YouTube. If you say something that's off or you do something that people disagree with, you're gonna hear criticism. So it's like
Right.
if you don't want to hear criticism, especially YouTube is not the right place for you to be, and so yeah, that's really interesting. But it's like sometimes something that I've learned in life is when you deal with people, it makes life a lot better. If somebody gives you an iffy story and they kind of lied and were deceptive, it's like really best to kind of cut ties with that person, or else
Mm-hmm.
you're going to keep getting screwed over. So then I was going to ask you, so
Mm-hmm.
after all this stuff was exposed, you guys were trying to expose this and talk about it. How did Owens like, how did his other fans handle it? How did they treat you guys?
Well, again, I mean, I think a really important part of this is the fact that I mean, I was very good friends with these people, like his high ups, and they made fake accounts of me to slander me and discredit me to Owen. So Owen wouldn't listen to the DZ or any of us, um, because Coddington's being paid, the level's being paid. But anyway, so when I first came out with it, dude, they freaked out. Um, they absolutely freaked out. You couldn't attack Owen's opener. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah, right.
that's nobody was having it. Nobody was having it. So, and half of the group still liked Nimmer. So what they did was uh, they made the fake accounts. They discredited everybody that was attached to me. Owen put out orders to ban anybody that was associated with me, anybody associated with the DZ. And then the second time it came out, when Chuck let Crowder know and Mersch released the FOIA information, he attacked, Mersch got attacked, Porcelain got attacked. I mean, you could see Owen and DeLav and Coddington got together, did a copyright strike on Owen's channel, or I'm sorry, on Mersch's channel. Um, I mean, they freaked when that information also came out or started to come out, and they learned that we actually had the FOIA. DeLev and Coddington immediately put members chat on because they
Okay.
couldn't any of the Nimmer stuff going in the chat. In fact, Owen's new little buddy, her name's Bunny Galore. She was running around in Nick DiPaolo's chat as a mod with Coddington, banning Porcelain, banning basically anybody that was in Nick DiPaolo's chat talking about it prior
Okay.
to the stuff coming out. So, I mean, these people are all over the internet messing with all kinds of creators' stuff.
Well, yeah, it's weird. I mean, in like this is documented. If you watch some of these streams, some of his fans would send donations, basically saying they'd do anything. Like they're like, "Hey, man, just give us a mission, we'll do it for you." And like, you had all these people doing stuff for him, and so that was one of the criticisms that people made is they would look at how diehard some of his fans were, and they're like, "Whoa, this is like creepy. There's something going on here."
You go on Owen's Instagram today. I think it was a post today. There's a comment on one of his Instagram posts from a he's willing to die for Owen and just tell him what to do.
Yeah.
And
So,
I think it was on the post from Future Nobody, which I don't know if you're aware or not, but Owen's address got doxxed this morning on that.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that makes it a very different ball game for Owen and his family, man. I mean,
Well,
like
and
he's just
that's
running around the internet pissing everybody off,
well,
and he
well, that's
thinks
the
that it's
thing is it's one thing if somebody's saying a bunch of stuff and they're it's pissing everybody off and he's doing all these destructive things, but like in a way, I don't know the guy, but you kind of worry about that because a lot of people it's really important to be careful about these things and like I've seen other people on YouTube and one of their fans, like if they're being harassed by somebody, if any of
Mhm.
their fans were to be like, well, just tell me what to do. Well, normally the thing to do on YouTube, if you're a content creator, is say, please don't do anything. I don't want you
Yeah.
to do anything. And so, the first thing he should have been kind of saying is calm down, guys, because it's like when you have power, when you've got a platform, you need to take that responsibility seriously and
Hmm.
you need to understand what's going on and just kind of be careful about all that. And it's like I didn't want to talk about this because I wanted to shit on Owen or anything like that, but I'm just coming from a perspective of this is kind of crazy. And I think he talks a lot about manhood and being a man and having honor. So I feel like if somebody like that who's encouraging people to be a man like missteps, I think it's important for other men to do their job and kind of try to call it out and or encourage the guy to be a bit more sensible about things.
What's funny about that is I see all these bears and they're defending Owen against me. And a lot of them don't understand that Owen tried to fucking ruin my life, man. He said that he called the FBI, filed a report against me. He said he called the police, filed a report against me. Told his followers when he gives the word, kill everybody. He told 50,000 people I tried to poison a child. He's yet to retract it. Um, you know, when I came out against Nimmer, I told everybody in the danger zone, I said, guys, this has nothing to do with Owen. We're not going after Owen. This has nothing to do with Owen. This is Nimmer. I said, you are who you associate with. We're getting Nimmer out of the fucking group. Period. We got to get rid of him. He's trouble.
Because I mean, I heard
So,
what wasn't he? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, continue.
so yeah, me and him were gonna do a show together. That canceled when I found all this shit out. Um, so I said this is not about Owen, and I made it very clear. And it was not about Owen until he said he was going to sue me over the comments on Vimeo about Eric. So what it was Owen released Eric's special. I went and I made a comment on Eric's special saying, don't buy this special. Owen says he's going to sue me, tells nobody to listen to us. And I'm like, bro, I'm trying to fucking help you here. Like, I'm the guy you should listen to. I'm the guy who's telling the truth here. I'm the guy that's going to save you money, right? I'm the
Mm-hmm.
guy. Here's the other thing. So Owen says it cost him $10,000 in an AR. Owen pushed Nimmer on his audience for a year, and they also paid Nimmer. What about their fucking money?
Yeah, that's true.
Money. And then he just turns around and he's like, well, I didn't know. Sorry. Sorry. Although somebody told me a year ago, I told them to go fuck off. And then I accused them of trying to poison my child. You know?
Yeah,
So all these fucking bears coming at me going, you're a piece of shit. And I'm like, I'm the one guy he should have listened to. I'm the
yeah,
one guy he still should be listening to. Because here's what you have around him now. You have all the people who backed Nimmer still around him. Owen said himself, when he outed Nimmer, finally, he said, I told somebody, I'm like, I don't think he's telling the truth. And they're like, yeah, we all know. We all know he's lying. And Owen's like, why didn't anybody fucking tell me? Well, Well, they did, but every time somebody told you, you banned them from your chat. You turned the members chat on. You told everybody not to listen to them. You even got in a fight with Crowder over it.
Yeah, and
So
that's
stop.
that's the other pattern I was going to touch on really quick. We don't have to go that far into it, but the other pattern that I sort of picked up on is like I know he had his thing with Rogan, he was mad at him, and I understood like some of his stuff with Peterson, but I was like, it just seems like every time he links up with some big personality or somebody who's kind of like minded with him, it seems like some little like scuffle happens, and then he just completely turns on them, like does a complete 180 and turns on them. And so I was just kind of looking at that pattern, and I was like, you know what? These people aren't. It can't be that all these people are against him because they're just being an asshole to Owen. I don't even think it has anything to do with his political views. I think it has a lot more to just do with the way that he treats people who, considered him a friend.
Yeah, and like again, I didn't consider him a friend or anything like that.
Well, I
Here's
mean,
my thing.
yeah,
I was
good.
part of a community, and Nimmer was fucking up my community. So I said, it's my job to deal with it. I was head of the DZ. I started the DZ. I had, nearly 50 people or, whatever underneath that that channel. And so they were all been major Owen fans. And every one of them came to me and said, Nimmer's a problem. Nimmer's going to ruin Owen's career. So now, I mean, what happens to somebody's brain when they're surrounded by people who enable somebody that's stealing from them?
Yeah,
And then Owen outs that guy, and those people are still there. And not only are they still there, but Owen's paying them.
yeah, that's quite interesting. And I kind of want to talk about how the structure works. So it seems like his first fans, like the diehard fans that would provide like graphic design and all that, they were pretty much like his number one guys right away, correct?
Yeah, Coddington, he did some videos with some graphic effects. Kiwi, she's a buddy of mine. She did a lot of the logos at first. Artling, he kind of came around later, and a lot of his first drawings, he actually were all DZ ideas. He used to come on my stream all the time and draw with us. But those were the people that rose quickly. Um, Basically, anybody who could help Owen better his brand was who he wanted. And that's it. Delev had a lot to do with with gatekeeping as far as who was okay to let in and who wasn't, as far as the
Mm-hmm.
exclusive people.
Well, well,
But
and yeah, go ahead.
when I left, man, I mean, just to kind of give you a frame of reference, Delev told me that she would leave the Unbearables so that I didn't have to. I mean, that's just like that was my relationship with Delev. Like I told her I've had a fucking enough of all of you. And anyways, they all turned it. They got Owen as their megaphone. He went with them instead of us, all the people that were lying to him.
And I'm sure for some people, I don't know, it's probably a little bit difficult to navigate a situation like this because I'm trying to look at it from like his point. So say your right hand guy screwed you over. You got all this stuff going on, and I think sometimes people panic. They go, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to own up to this. What's it gonna do for my like career or whatever?" And then it just seems like he just kind of went with his gut feeling or just dealt with it like in this way where he wasn't really considering everything that was going on. And
Right.
and the other thing that kind of worries me is just seeing like say if he lied and he tried to cover something up, and you've got these diehard fans saying, "We'll do anything for you, man." It's like that's kind of a scary situation, and something that we've seen a lot is during the elections and all that we would hear a lot about echo chambers and all that, and then you have these people popping up on YouTube with these diehard fans, and I don't know. I'm not gonna say this was his intention at all, but I feel like you can fall into this trap where you're almost like a cult leader in a way. And I
Yeah.
don't know if you have any opinion on that, Tommy. I want to ask you real quick before Johnny talks. I mean, do you want to speak up a little bit about how you felt like with what you've seen about Owen? Have you seen a theme of like a cult of personality? What are your thoughts? I'm just curious.
It's the typical thing that always happens. You have a somewhat charismatic figure that a lot of people see kind of as a role model, and as soon as this happens, there are these celebs, these extremists who, as soon as they kind of accept this person more or less as their Lord and Savior, everything this person says is true, and everyone who criticizes this person is just by default wrong, and not just wrong, but has malicious intentions. This is something that you can see over and over again. Stefan Molyneux would be a good example. I first realized this when I got off the atheism train with Richard Dawkins, where the atheist community basically turned Richard Dawkins into their fucking prophet. Although I gotta admit, Owen Benjamin and Stefan Molyneux have these have megalomania going on, where they basically think of themselves as demigods along the way. They talk about themselves like Owen Benjamin. This is I have an IQ of, what did he say? He
147 or something.
147.
Yeah, 147. Where he said he is definitely more of a genius than every single professor at Oxford University or something.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Let me just check something real quick. That IQ was tested in 6th grade by his mother. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, there's no fucking way in hell that this guy has an IQ. I would even go so far as to say he probably doesn't even have a 3-digit IQ. He's probably a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why he apparently someone offered him $1,000 if he does an IQ test, and he refused. And you could probably give him $10,000 and he would still refuse. And even if he would do it, and the IQ test wouldn't come out the way he wants it to, he would probably blame it on the Jews.
Probably.
Right.
Right.
And would say that the methodology is wrong, and that this is constructed by the left, and yeah, it's a big bullshit.
And let me say one other thing about Owen. To everybody who thinks that people are maybe ganging up on him, no, this guy, like Alex Jones was considering giving him a show on Infowars, and even Alex Jones noped out. So if Alex Jones, I mean, you know what I mean? And if Alex Jones gets freaked out and he's like, I don't like how you're talking about the Jews all the time. Like why do you focus on that so much? And he flips. Like it's just odd. And then another thing I want to talk about, like Joe Rogan. Look at Joe Rogan and Alex Jones's thing. Alex Jones was on air talking about Joe Rogan's daughter and that he's going to go to war with Joe, and Joe ended up making amends with it. Like they ended up talking it over, and everything's fine. And Joe had Alex back on. So I really don't think that it's like that Joe and Alex have no morals. I think they just gotta they're distant from the dude because he's burned, the bridges with his colleagues.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody likes to say that there's some conspiracy there between Jones and Rogan, but the fact of the matter is those guys have been friends for like 20 years, like real life friends.
Mm-hmm.
And Owen has not been friends with either of them at all. So it's like zero problem for those two to cut him out of their life and for them to like have a quarrel. Dude, I have fights with my friends all the time and we make up and everything's fine, you know?
Right.
Like,
I think as far as I kind of have the impression that first of all, Owen Benjamin has massive daddy issues, and I think he tends to find people that he kind of sees as a surrogate father figure, which is, for example, Joe Rogan was one, and Jordan Peterson was the other one, and he tries to get into these groups that are higher up basically than him, and when these groups don't turn out the way he thinks they will, but or if these people see him for what he is and try to cut ties with him, then he's pissed off, and of course he has to think that yeah, this is some grand conspiracy because he's infallible. Of course, it can't be his fault. Everyone is at fault.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you from firsthand experience with the guy that if you have an issue with him, he doesn't reach out and talk to you like a normal man would and go, "Hey, what's going on?" He goes live and he uses his platform to slander you, and it's done time and time and time. I think a lot of what it is when he was, raised or whatever, he didn't have any friends. His first friend that he had shot him in the face with a BB gun.
Oh, and sorry to cut you off for a second, but by the way, everything that he's saying about like his friendships and stuff, Owen has addressed and talked about his childhood on stream. So we're not like airing out like anything that was said in confidence. By the way, I just wanted to make that
Yeah,
clear. So he said
yeah,
his first friend shot him in the eye when he was a kid with a
yeah.
BB gun. Okay, yeah.
I was a kid, and then his next friend that he had wasn't until he was 13 years old. So a lot of the social cues that people learn as a child, he didn't get those. He even at 13, he didn't have strong friendships, and he's never had a great male role model in his life because when his mom left to go write the feminist book, his dad broke down and was threatening to kill himself and
Yeah.
just basically lost his mental faculties.
And I know
And
that feeling. Like I was raised without my dad around. I know what it's like feeling awkward and stuff when you're like in middle school and all that. So it's definitely a pain that a lot of people know, and nobody's at fault for, you can't really control your childhood.
yeah,
So,
I
and
mean,
the thing to remember is some people have had really shitty childhoods, but it's like, once you get to a point in age, like in adulthood, I mean, you have to figure out how to deal with it. But anyway, continue with all that. Sorry, bro.
yeah. So I mean, his dad broke down, and basically his brother was his go-to for male role model, and his brother wasn't much older than him anyways, so not much he can do. But he he didn't get the social cues taught to him as a kid like the rest of us do. He didn't have the male role model to go, hey, listen, if you're wrong about something, you admit to it and you say, hey, I was wrong. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. That's how a man deals with shit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, oh, well, they tricked me and I was tricked by the Jews. And you don't do that.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
not the way a man deals with things. When you have an issue with somebody, you do what I did with Nimmer and you go face them and you say, hey, we got an issue.
He
You
needs to go
don't go
back
on
on Jesse Lee
stream.
Peterson's show.
Yeah, yeah, you don't go on stream and then just start slandering people. And that's again, that's what he does constantly. So Owen admitted when he had the falling out with Rogan, the first falling out with Rogan, he's like, yeah, well, I kind of did what the female thing is to do and just assumed that he knew I wanted to come back on his show. So, I mean, if Owen's wandering around, like just expecting everybody to cater to him and his feelings, like that's not how the world works, dude. You want something, you ask for it. You go get it. You don't sit there and bitch because somebody didn't read your mind and go, oh, well, look, he's mopey. He's sad. We should do something for him. Let's throw him a party. No, that's
Hmm.
not how it works. Men get off their ass and fix their life. So I don't know. He's got this very womanly leftist way about him.
Yeah, I was gonna say he acts like a bitch. He said so on stream, I think on multiple occasions, that the way he deals with problems, like you said before, is female.
Now, here's what I find interesting. He said on stream that he personally doesn't feel like he has any masculine activities. He also has said that he feels like an absolute complete failure. And I think that this is important. When I was looking over some stuff before the show, I was looking at cult stuff. And there's like two type of cult leaders. There's one that really like has this god complex. And there's one that doesn't have the god complex but portrays the god complex. And the more dangerous type is the type the latter. And that's what he is. Um it's frightening. I mean, it's frightening. And again, like you said, the whole thing didn't start like this. It didn't start like this at all. It's evolved. Most definitely evolved, and I think part of it's money. I think part of it is just a natural evolution of creators on YouTube. I mean, people once they start seeing that money come in,
Mm-hmm.
money's an addicting thing. Fame is an addicting thing, and when you think you have 1,000 people watching you, you feel important. Although 1,000 people is like a high school auditorium full of people, you know, it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. So Owen is basically filling 5 high school auditoriums every day,
Mm-hmm.
and half of those people are there for the shit show.
He bragged about on one stream that last month 69 million minutes was watched on his channel, which is again the I'm so fucking important thing. He
Yeah.
uh he
Well, whoa! You better calm. He's got a 147 IQ, man. You
Damn,
know, you better calm down, bro.
you're back there.
But
yeah, I'm already banned. um the thing where it gets dangerous, in my opinion, this is where he talks about, first of all, when he talks about, I'm never gonna commit suicide if I'm gonna die. I want my fans to burn everything down, to kill everyone. This is some Jonestown bullshit at this point.
You know, it's
Um,
funny you say that because I have a checklist of stuff to define a cult that includes part of that. It definitely that's like one of the checklisted things.
do you want to go down some of those
Yeah.
things you got checklisted real quick?
Yeah.
All
The
right.
the first one is the group displays excessively zealous and unquestioning commitment to its leader, and whether he's alive or dead, regards his belief system, ideology, and practices as the truth, or the law as truth, or truth as law, or whatever
Mm-hmm.
it's. That's the first one. That can be definitely checked off. The second one, questioning, doubt, and dissent are discouraged or even punished, which is the most definite thing that occurs in the
Yeah, I
Bears.
mean, people will like ask him, just like I've seen some people respectfully challenge some of his views, and he's just like banned for life. You know.
yeah,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
the if you hang, you have to cut ties with all people that are critical of me. This is another thing
That
that
they
is
say, yeah.
extremely cultish.
Yep, and we have a video of him telling everybody to do that. It's amazing. The third one is mind-altering practices such as meditation, chanting, speaking in tongues, denunciation sessions, and debilitating work routines, used in excess and serve to suppress doubts in the group and its leaders. I would also though put White Claw in there,
What?
because I would say that White Claw or alcohol.
Oh,
To
is that
me,
a drink that he drinks? What is White Claw?
yeah, it's just some girly drink that he
Okay,
drinks.
okay.
But alcohol, I think, should definitely be included in mind-altering practices. Um,
Yeah, okay, that's a little far-fetched.
yeah, I don't know, but pray
Well,
together before the show, so that's kind of odd. The next one is the leadership dictates, sometimes in great deal detail, how members should think, act, and feel. For examples, members must get permission to date, change jobs, marry. Leaders prescribe what type of clothes to wear, where to live, whether or not to have children, how to discipline children, and so forth. So, make babies, don't use condoms, um, move out of the cities. The cities are gonna, I think we can check that one off.
well, I don't know. I think he's probably coming from like his prepper mentality, and I know he talks a lot about what is it? He talks like because he's kind of into like the trad movement, the traditional movement, and a lot of those guys do encourage you to like go get a family, have kids, this and that. But the one thing that I will say about that is, I think that some of these guys are actually listening to him say this stuff and they're doing it. I don't know if this is true. The guy might have been a troll, but there's a thread on 4chan about Owen a while ago, and this one guy's like, Owen kept telling me to make babies, and now I got my girlfriend pregnant, and we live at her grandparents' house, which is kind of funny. I wonder if any guys actually really got in that situation. But I guess like you've had the experience there. I don't really know everything, but it does seem like he kind of gives these life advice kind of lessons to people, and he actually tells them to go and start doing it, do what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Let's put it this way. Owen's viewers are not high IQ. They're not the people that I want reproducing around me. That's all I'm saying.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I did see some of the comments that his fans were leaving on a couple guys that made documentaries
Yeah.
about him, and it was bad. They're using a lot of triple brackets when they're referring to people and stuff like that. And it was like, but it was just kind of like nonsensical. Like, so yeah, I don't, it's kind of bad that some of his fans are mimicking like the stuff that he says about Jews and stuff. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of a no bueno, but
hmm So the next one is the group is elitist, claiming a special exalted status for itself, its leaders and members. For example, the leaders considered the Messiah a special being, an avatar, or the group and or leader is on a special mission to save humanity.
Yeah, you
Um,
can check that out because
yeah, I'd say
I'm the
so.
smartest guy on the planet and everyone wants to kill me because I'm so fucking
right.
important.
But they're
Didn't
saving Western
somebody,
civilization, so
I remember Revenge of the Sis, they were reading some donation that one of his fans sent, and he was talking about how like Owen was sent to like save Western civilization, and
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
you should be like honestly, if one of my fans, that might be an instant. If I had a fan that said something like that to me, I'd be like, you're banned. I'd ban people for saying stuff like that. Well, not really, but it would freak me out. Yeah, and yeah,
Definitely a little crazy. The next one is, and this one's this one's good. The group has a polarized us versus them mentality, which may cause conflict with the wider society.
yes, I
I
think
would say
you know
we're,
that. Yeah,
yeah. The next one, the leader is not accountable to any authorities, unlike, for example, teachers, military commanders, ministers, priests, monks, rabbis, or mainstream religious denominations. So basically, he doesn't work for like anybody who's checking his bullshit, you know? He
hmm
just randomly spout off. He's just a guy. He's a
right.
guy on a street corner on a milk crate, is what he is. Um, the next one is the group teaches or implies that its supposedly exalted ends justify whatever means it deems necessary. This may result in members participating in behaviors or activities they would have considered reprehensible or unethical before joining the group. For example, lying to family or friends, or collecting money for bogus charities. So, I watched, I've actually watched a couple of bogus charities go off in the Bears. One of them was Base Texan for his tractor. Another one was a guy who raised just over $2,000 for his rent that actually went to drugs. And he was Nimmer's friend who threatened that girl. Owen, where did he buy that sauna? With what? I mean, I'm not going to say it's not his own money, but
Either donations or whoever's paying rent in his condo in LA.
yeah.
Yeah, but these charity things that you just counted, these were not directly these were people in his circle that did that. This is not based on Owen Benjamin himself.
Well, it is because he actually pushed those.
Oh, he pushed those.
Yeah, he went
Okay.
on stream, said you should donate to these. He also told people to donate to Nimmer after he was told that Nimmer was lying and faked his military career.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we can most definitely check that one. The next one is the leadership induces feelings of shame and or guilt in order to influence and or control members. Often this is done through peer pressure and or subtle forms of persuasion. I would say dumpster pumping, sodomite.
Yeah, all these terms.
What's dumpster pumping?
Oh, real dumpster pumping. That we're gonna have to go all the way back to the days of Abraham Lincoln.
Oh gosh.
Owen said that some gay guys were having sex behind a dumpster with roller skates on. I think it was
yeah, he was talking
Alex.
about Alex Jones's grandfather, right?
He also said that Abraham Lincoln used to have sex with guys behind a dumpster. And this is a guy that's going to homeschool his kids. So,
you
know,
and has a house full of guns
you
and
notice
wants to
that
kill people.
Oh
old
gosh.
the dumpster pumper. I mean, what a crazy guy. So, the other one, there's actually a couple more. Subservience to the leader or group requires members to cut ties with family and or friends and radically alter the personal goals and activities they had chosen before joining the group. So, I mean, I could say that him telling everybody to cut ties with the DZ could account for that. I don't know if I go much deeper on that one though. You guys might be able to.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's yeah, one thing I was gonna say that's kind of funny is I noticed like as the months go by, it seems like his streaming setup is like moved further and further away from the house.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I wouldn't say that he tells people to leave their families and
no,
stuff, but
right.
he most certainly skipped a Christmas dinner because he couldn't get along with his brother-in-law. So,
Well, it's because he's probably talking about the moon or something like that.
Yeah, the family of his wife, I think, kicked him out of the house during a Christmas dinner because he couldn't stop talking about how the moon landing is fake.
yeah, they wanted to talk about golf. He wanted to talk about golfing on the moon. He's like, if I can't talk about golfing on the moon, you can't talk about what you want to talk about.
Dude,
Yeah.
I've got enough trouble just talking about my interest for politics to people. It's hard enough to have that conversation. So you're doing the moon thing on top of it. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like in a way it's a little bit embarrassing to like be associating, the conservative. I don't know, because he's like a Christian conservative and all that. And I just don't know what the point of talking about whether or not you believe the moon landing happened or whatever. I just don't know why you need to be talking to everybody about that. But hey, man, to each his own. Like we all got our own interests. I got things I talk about that annoy people too. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as him being a Christian conservative, I think that with the last election, there was a big swing in the political landscape, especially when it comes to left versus right. You have so many people from the left coming over and saying, "I'm a conservative now," but they're really doing what Owen Benjamin did, because I mean he was a liberal his whole life. He's said it before, um, and now he's like, well, I think I'm a conservative. I like what you guys are doing over here,
Yeah.
but he's still in his mind, deep in himself, he's a liberal, you know. So he could say one thing, but he's going to do the other, and I think that's God. I think it's all over now. But anyway, that was a little side rant.
Yeah.
Um, the next one of these is, and there's five more quick ones here. The group is preoccupied with bringing in new members. Uh, I wouldn't really say that, but I would say that he does boast about his sub count. So I don't know. The group is preoccupied with making money. Most definitely he is. Members are expected to devote inordinate amounts of time to the group and/or group-related activities. So like
Uh,
4 hours a day.
does he demand donations or super chats?
Mm,
Well, what he does, he doesn't demand them. He says that that you can give them if you want, but what he does do is he says, "All right, I'm going to take time this evening, and I'm going to read every super chat that you send." And then he flips out about something, and he ends the stream before reading all the super chats. So, I mean, you know,
Yeah, he tells you give me money and I do XYZ, and then he says, yeah, I'm not gonna do XYZ, go fuck yourself.
yeah. If you don't like it, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one here is members are encouraged or required to live and or socialize only with other group members. Well, I wouldn't say that it's only with other group members, but I would say that he's borderline on that. He's borderline on that. They kind of self segregate anyways. Nobody really likes the Bears. The last two, oh no, the last one. The most loyal members, the true believers, feel there can be no life outside the context of the group. They believe there's no other way to be, and often fear reprisals to themselves or others if they leave, or even consider leaving the group. Um, yeah. So, when Artling left, after him, I can name a number of other people that same kind of thing happened.
didn't he leave on his own?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he did. But it says the most loyal members feel there can be no life outside the context of the group.
Right.
Um, Often fear reprisals to themselves or others if they leave. So, as far as fearing reprisals, Owens definitely put out there that if you leave and go against him, you very well could be doxxed, you could be outed on stream, you could be slandered, you could be all
Oh
kinds of
yeah,
things.
he doxed people. He doxed you, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it doxed because my name was public information, but he did falsely accuse me of federal crime.
Well,
So,
yeah, and well, just in the etiquette of other streamers that I see and watch on YouTube, it's a big no-no to say somebody's full name. I mean, some people
yeah.
would like feel bad if they accidentally even said somebody's first name, you know?
Yeah, I mean, again, for context to people, uh, it was malicious. Like, he spelled my name 3 times, first and last. Said, yep, he did it. If anything happens to me, it was him. Yeah, I told the FBI. Yeah, I called the police. When I
And
give the
obviously
word,
you didn't because nobody was contacted, were they? But
no, we
no, right?
contacted the FBI, bro.
You
Because there was
contacted
two of,
FBI. Okay.
yeah, there was two of us that were accused. The other
Mm,
guy, who's a buddy of mine, close buddy of mine, he contacted the FBI to make sure that the story was straight from both ends. You know what I mean?
right.
Because if we're gonna have the FBI looking into us, we're going to take the first step and go, hey, we want to straighten this shit out. Okay? And they just fucking laughed, bro. They just fucking laughed. They're like, call your local cops. Nobody gives a shit. So,
Yeah,
to
this
be
is
honest,
again. This is again.
Yeah,
He's so important that the FBI has to take care of this shit.
Yeah, the FBI doesn't want anything to do with it. Not that, at least. I mean, as far as Owen saying that he has guns and he's going to murder people, that's a different story.
I mean, I think these online, these actual serious death threats and stuff online, this is actually FBI territory, because
Yeah.
I know, for example, that Thunderfoot had death threats made against him, and he talked about this in the context of Anita Sarkeesian, who said that she had death threats made against her, which isn't true. And Thunderfoot said when he got those death threats, what he did is you go to the FBI and you shut the fuck up about it, which is exactly what they tell you to do. You don't go out on a stream and tell everybody what happened. This is
Yeah.
not how this works.
Yeah, no, which leads me to believe that exactly what I thought when it was done is that he probably talked to a buddy of his who's a cop and said, "Hey, I think this happened." And the cop goes, "Well, do you have the evidence?" And he goes, "No, somebody ate them." And he goes, "Well, you know, sorry, but oh, by the way, Artling ate them. The guy who he kicked out of the Bears and said, 'Fuck Artling' and blah 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 blah." Artling ate the gummies in question, but I think that at that point he was just mad because I think that he truly believed it, and he was just mad and he wanted to. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he was drumming up business, but he definitely went on stream and he was like, "These fucking guys did this, and if anything happens to me, it's them."
Now I can say I could understand, like, if I was in his position and somebody sent me anything in the mail, I'd probably get a little bit freaked out. I'd probably be a little bit suspicious. So I don't blame him for having suspicions, but I just don't understand, the part where you kind of lie. I mean,
Well,
if you
well,
think
here's
somebody
the
sent
thing.
you something to poison you, you better make sure there's actually poison in it.
Yeah,
And if your friends eat it and they're
you
alive, yeah,
you don't eat the evidence.
you don't eat it.
you opened it on stream. You said it was funny. You read the company name off. I mean, and the way that we know that that is the package in question is because he went on a stream later and he's like, "Yeah, guys, it was gummy dicks. I opened it on stream." It's like it was just very dangerous, very very dangerous. And now he's telling people with that whole Seinfeld thing that people that if somebody was stalking his wife or whatever, he'd go murder them. Well, I'm not stalking his wife. I'm not stalking Owen. I don't give a shit about Owen besides the fact that he's just blasted my name like that over the internet. But it does lead me to believe that if he, okay, falsely feels wronged, like he thought that I tried to poison his kid, so much to a point that he went on his stream and spelled my name out maliciously, what's to stop him from believing something that somebody else says to him about somebody else and him going and killing them?
Yeah, I don't think Owen Benjamin is actually gonna kill anyone, because Owen Benjamin is a bitch.
Well,
Well,
I
that,
mean,
and I
does
would
he
hope
think
he
he was
wouldn't.
going to kill anybody?
What's that?
Huh?
I mean, that did the YouTube whatever shooting. Nobody thought she was going to kill anybody. I
Well,
mean,
let's
this video
yeah.
says that these people are going to kill anybody, but
Usually,
only having
usually,
fantasies about murdering people in his home.
what Owen Benjamin does is, and I've heard him say this a few times on streams, that he this is another cult thing, kind of. He is not going to do anything, but if XYZ happens, he wants his followers to do this, and he has friends who have guns and shit. This, yeah, delegating the dirty work out to other people, out to his followers.
Yep, yep. And it's like I was saying before. So he has now 250,000 followers. 1% of 1% of that is like a handful of people still. 1% of 1% is a handful of people. That's dangerous, man. There's always a handful of crazy people out of 250,000 people. So, and again, you saw or I told you, there's the comment on his Instagram today that says, "I'm ready to die for you. Just tell me what to do."
Well, and this is the biggest. This is my see. This is the thing that kind of worries me is because, like, I'm in the Trump movement. The left has kind of pushed me to become a bit more conservative than I was. I'm normally like in the center, but the thing about this that would kind of upset me the most if something crazy happened is people would be like, oh well, Owen Benjamin, he's an alt right guy. This is the alt right. These
Yep.
are Trump supporters. And the thing is it sucks because if he were to go down or get suspended, you'd have all these fans that are going to be like, well, it's because we're conservatives and we're standing up for the truth. And it's like, in a way, it's kind of going to be, that would be a lie, and so I don't want to be associated with some of the crazy things that he's saying, because it's like that's really not what the movement is. It just, I don't know. It just seems like somebody's just kind of jumping onto something to profit off of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, I don't think it started as that. I don't think it started as that at all. But I think that it grows to that with a lot of YouTube creators, like you said. It's kind of I don't know, it's kind of a crazy self-fulfilling prophecy when
Hey,
you have that catch-22 of viewers going, "We'll do anything we can to help you," and then this
yeah,
guy's lying to them, and then it's I
I'd
see
like
it
to
all
read
the time, man.
a comment real quick that somebody left.
Hmm?
She said, "We have had people in the Danger Zone live chat apologize for threatening to murder these guys because they believed Owen when he said that they tried to poison his child." So that's interesting. It's I think some of these people who said these things, they were looking out for Owen because they really cared about him. And it's interesting that when some of these guys kind of found out that this was all based on a lie, that some people are, coming and apologizing. And so, I think that's important. And I just, I'm not against Owen. I don't want him to fail. But dude, like, I mean, a lot of these guys that follow him are just blue collared, good hearted working guys, and it just pisses me off to think that some people out there might try to manipulate that. I don't know if that's what Owen was doing, but his actions kind of pretty iffy. So
Well, again, I think the biggest thing for Owen to take a step in the right direction, and I want to make this point too, is none of the DZ has ever been out to hurt the guy.
no, like,
What he
yeah,
falsely accused us of trying to murder a child on his stream, spelled our names. Okay, so we're mad at him for that, rightfully so. Rightfully so. Have I sued him? Do I want to take his money from him and his family? No, no.
right,
Have I negatively impacted his life in any way besides doing what his bears should be doing and saying, "Hey, tell the truth. It will set you free." Calling
yeah,
him on his bullshit. He didn't. he he didn't know about the Nimmer shit, bro. Nimmer would have kept stealing from him.
yeah.
Nimmer
Does,
would have kept stealing from him.
does he have anything to do with Nimmer now, or is he done with
No,
him?
and that's another thing that Nimmer's. He initially was like backing Nimmer. He's like, and then he's like, "All right, well, I called Nimmer out. I still want everybody to respect Nimmer. Nimmer's still a good guy. He's just I can't trust him." And he's like,
Dude, that was scary. His comment, like, it was a joke, but I saw that joke where he's talking about the KKK, and he's like, "Yeah, if they did anything to anybody, it's probably because some dude was lying about being in the Marines." Like, that is crazy, dude. Like,
"Yeah, yeah." That's the funny thing about these guys, bro. They love to tell you exactly what they're doing. They love to. Owen does it almost every stream. He will tell you exactly what he's doing, but he'll blame somebody else for doing it. Almost every stream. It's really, really interesting. But like I was saying, I mean, Nimmer would still be stealing from him. Um, he needs to get rid of the people around him who are toxic. So you got Coddington, Delev on. I've heard she's gone. I honestly don't know for sure. But all these people who backed a guy who was stealing from him and knew he was lying and still backed him, he needs to get rid of those people. And you can't you can't trust anything when you have that kind of shit around you. You know, when
Well,
you
yeah,
think,
that's true, and that's like, that's the thing I was wondering is like, for somebody, like, I mean, I'm a Christian. Owen says he's a Christian, and I just feel like, just with certain things I've read about the Bible, some of the things I've read, what was I gonna say? Sorry, I got distracted there. But like, I don't know, he doesn't really, when it comes to like holding your tongue and having humility and all that, it doesn't seem like he has that. So it's like, if Owen, he considers himself that, maybe he should be surrounded by dudes that believe in that or whatever, and that could like encourage him to be a bit more humble. I don't know.
right, right. Well, I mean, the issue with him is now making friends with all these people that he's wronged. I mean, everybody has a chance for redemption in this world, and even Owen has, it's odd to say, but he has a chance for redemption with me. All he has to do is unfuck the situation. Um, I'm not an evil guy. I I'm more than willing to give him advice on how to fix it, man. I've been through a lot of the shit that he's going through. But he just there's a couple steps he's got to take, and making friends with people, his his ability to trust people after the Nimmer thing is like broken, like
Yeah, I would think
broke.
so.
So I mean, it's going to be really really difficult for him. He again, he's got the bad social cues with men. So anytime that a man shows any kind of anger towards him or any kind of disappointment, he folds and
Well,
he
I know
just
what that's like, because like I've had that mentality where
mhm,
if I would like receive any bit of criticism from somebody, I would just be like, all right, well, this is over, and I would just kind of like, I don't know, I would like take it personally, and it's like,
mhm,
it's not always personal, and so I used to have that mentality where if I felt like conflict was happening in a relationship or a friendship, I would just end up saying something to just fuck it up, because my mentality was, well, at least I ended it, and they didn't like cut me out of their life,
yeah.
and so yeah.
When I was growing up, my dad said to me, he goes, Brian, he goes, if somebody comes up to you on the street and they go, hey, that shirt looks goofy, you tell them to go fuck themselves. But if somebody in your family or one of your friends comes up to you and says, hey, I think that this, and this, or I think that this, you could do this differently, you take that as criticism because they're trying to help you, you know? And I don't think that Owen understands that at all. At all.
Well, and it's hard to. I mean, if anybody's been in situations where they've been really hurt or humiliated, it makes it difficult for you to put yourself out there like that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's again, I don't know what the perfect solution for him is, but
Well, it's not even our place to
I mean,
figure that out. Yeah.
I could tell you him talking to me directly would be a good first step for him.
Had you ever talked to him before, like ever? I'm just curious.
I've spoken with him in chats briefly,
Okay.
but I've never spoken to him on the phone like this.
Well, it
But
sounds like he doesn't want anything to do with you guys anymore anyway, does it?
no, no, and
Yeah.
that's the funny thing is, again, I mean, we're the ones that we're always trying to help, and he was fed so much bullshit about us that he's absolutely sold that we're out to get him. And at this point, I mean, I'm definitely out to straighten him out. I'm not out to ruin his life. If I was out to ruin his
Yeah.
life, I would call the police and I would sue him.
Right.
I
Right.
don't want his money. I don't want to fuck up his kids' college fund. I don't want to take away from fucking Amy's baking money or his sauna cash. I don't care about that. I have my own life. But
Yeah.
I do want to make the public aware of what he's capable of doing. because it's important for these people to know that the shit coming out of his mouth is sometimes just wildly perceived in his head, and there's no facts behind it. And I'm talking false murder accusations of a child.
Yeah.
Okay. So if he's willing to lie to an audience of 250,000 people about that, I say 50,000 because that's how many have watched that video.
Mm-hmm.
It was like on Christmas or the day after Christmas, so everybody was on vacation. But um, if he's willing to lie about that, what else is he willing to lie about? And if he's willing to lie to himself about that and not even willing to look into it far enough as to go, oh shit, I opened those on stream and they came from a company, so there's no possible way they could have been poisoned.
Right. And I mean, I believe you even read the name
Then
of the
he doesn't
company on the
stand a
label.
chance with the moon landing, bro. He doesn't stand a chance with the conservative movement. He doesn't stand a chance with the Jews. He doesn't stand a chance with any of that.
Just all those things that he talks about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And and it's okay. I mean, if you want to question some things or look into conspiracies, I get it. But like to say this is truth, this is the way it is, and especially when people start picking that up, it's like, man, you gotta be careful about all that. So but like, and so that's kind of the warning, is because there are a number of people that make commentary on YouTube. And, I used to be at that point where it's like, I'm just going to watch this person every day. And I'm going to listen to their view. And I was just kind of being lazy, but I'm just kind of like, all right, I'm really going to start like viewing these people as like entertainment. It's not, what they say is not like the truth. And so this is just a reminder to anybody out there. You should always do your own research, and you should have critical thinking skills and think for yourself, think things through, because if you go in the world trusting everybody, you're going to get fucked over every time if you just
Don't
blindly.
idolize people.
Yeah, don't idolize people.
That's
I,
a sin, isn't it? False idols.
yeah, that's how I see it. That's the way I feel. But what was I gonna say though? And so the other thing, well, I mean, if you want to touch on anything else about this, go ahead. But I was gonna ask you real quick. So when all this stuff is behind you guys, what's for the future? Because it seems like, it seems like you guys have quite a group going, and I feel like you sort of have an opportunity to maybe make content, about other things in the future and kind of grow your fan base, because like I think it's important what you're doing, like to just kind of speak out on some of these injustices. But in the
I
future, what do you want to do, you think, with this?
I agree. As far as the future goes, there's been a lot of talk about the DZ starting different businesses together. There's been, talk about channels and stuff like that. And we do have a lot to offer people as far as, funny content goes.
Yeah.
I mean, what I will say is, dude, the group that we have maintained is was, I mean, a large group of Owen's funniest audience. So, I mean, we have some really, really funny, sharp-witted people in there, and there's a lot we can do with it. But I don't know. It's hard to say. There's so many people in there. It's hard to get everybody on the same track at the same time, So everybody's still got their lives to do, but I do think that we're going to continue to do some shows. As far as it being over with Owen, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play out. I do want to. It like you said, is people need to really take a look at what they're listening to and what they're following, because people are out there just really spouting opinion
Yeah.
a lot of the
Right.
time, and it's unverified, it's uneducated opinion.
Yeah.
For a guy who studied World War II in college to say that the Holocaust was 9 rollerbladers or whatever,
Yeah.
dude, I mean, like, I can't think of something more disrespectful to say, um,
And it's
especially a
like he
guy that
talks
has
about
good
the
friends.
yeah, and he talks about the Jews all the time, and it's like didn't Adam Sandler give you your first big break? And he's
Yeah.
Jewish, man. It's like, oh, it's just, it's just crazy just to make a blanket statement like that. I mean,
Yeah, his good
whatever.
friend Brody was Jewish too. I mean, so many of those guys were Jewish.
One of
It
his
amazes me.
Like, if you're
one
against Zionism, I understand that, but to just say it's all Jews, it's just, Anyway, but anyway, go ahead.
in the documentary, one of the where they talked about, I think the early bears, the top tier level
Yeah.
people. There's one chick from Israel who constantly has the Israeli flagged Star of David hanging around. So how does this how do these two things work together? One of his top tier people being obviously Jewish in the documentary. She's called Zionist. I don't give a shit. And then at the same time blaming the Jews for everything.
Well, it's funny because at that time back when I was in that group, there was more top tier Jews than Delev. There was also Shia, who's called the Bear Jew, and that guy is like crazy orthodox. He's like tearing toilet paper on Friday, prepping for Saturday.
Oh
Like,
gosh,
yeah,
right?
I mean, Owen's people go camping in their houses on Saturday. They're so Jewish. So they all left, man, when he started going off on the Jews, and he's basically said that, and it's my belief that he went on the Jews as a tangent to take people's mind and his own mind off of the Nimmer situation. Um,
Did that start after the Nimmer stuff?
what's that?
Did
Did
his rantings about the Jews did this time wise correlate with the Nimmer stuff?
with Nimmer?
Yeah, yeah. And what's funny is, if you go back to that Sweet Palestine episode I mentioned earlier, he uh, he actually says that my group is losers and we're the type of people that will lose our minds and rant about the Jews. So he's
Projection.
100% flipped on shit. 100%. He was not this way a year ago. Not at all.
Maybe it really is all just an act.
I again, I think part of it's an act, and I think part of it is he got so mentally wound up over the Nimmer thing, like he really was absolutely lied to, and not only lied to, but tricked himself. He like to deceive yourself so wildly that you cost your family $10,000. That's gotta like really internally, emotionally, just scar you.
Yeah,
You know?
specifically when you've been told this for what was it, a year?
Yeah, and all the people around you who are lying about it are the people that you've backed. And all the people who were telling you the truth, I mean, you've accused them of things like attempted murder and told everybody to ignore them. So, I mean, he took the wrong road, man, 100%. And I think that he's just mentally trying to regain himself from that. And uh,
And
you
I
know,
don't I don't I don't judge that. I've been there. Like
I'm just
I've
gonna keep
been
going at him.
yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, there's
I want,
that. Go ahead.
man. I want people to wake up to again what he's capable of. I think that's really the most important thing here. And it's not the sad thing is again is I don't think that he had any intention. I don't think that this was his intention. I think it's just a terrible trap that he fell into. But the thing is he wants to teach men how to be men, and I think that this right here is the golden opportunity for him to go, you know what, I fucked up, and as a man, this
And
is a lesson that I think everybody should learn with me.
I agree with that because honestly, I mean, with the opportunity that he has to really do something, I would like to see, not that it's like my job to tell him what to do, but I'd like to see him, come away from this and really kind of figure it out, like own up to his mistakes. And I'm pretty sure that, his core fans that really respect him and were there from the start, I'm sure they would respect that if he could do that. And You know, I've been there. I've fucked up a lot as well, and I also know what it's like to have somebody in your life that you care about and to, you know, keep deceiving yourself, you know, when you feel like they're using you or
Hmm.
whatever. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when he came out about the Nimmer stuff, and and of course he lied to his audience, and he's like, nobody ever told me, and I'm a victim, but he's like, I was wrong, and his bears still supported him through that. I mean, he didn't exactly tell them the truth, but again, he he's got an out with me. He's got the guy Kyle who gave him my name, who's already admitted that it was all a lie and said that Owen should retract it. All Owen has to do is go, "Hey, I was fed bad information. Um, I definitely should have checked it, but I fucked up and I didn't, and it won't happen again." And it's over.
Right.
And then I can kill this channel and move on with my life.
Or yeah, you could or that or you could make your own commentary unless if you're not interested in that. But
I mean,
yeah.
I'm really not interested in Owen, honestly. I
No, I
do have
mean, yeah, go ahead.
interest. I do have, political interests and shit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, go.
Definitely.
Yeah, what are just real quick, what are some of your stances and views? Like how do you feel about politics or we could talk about that a different day. But
Well, well, no, it's fine. I was raised conservative. Like my dad, I was raised in a family, um, who was just very, very, very conservative. I was raised with guns. My dad sat down at the dinner table every night. He was ranting about politics every
yeah.
night. So he would make me sit down and watch the McLaughlin Group when I was 8 years old with him. So, I was raised conservative. So I have a difficult time with people like Owen, but a lot of a lot of what I do in my life, I guess, could be considered socially liberal, but
Okay.
I don't I'm not socially liberal. Like like people who I don't generally hang out with people who act socially liberal. I shouldn't say I don't like them, but I don't generally hang out with them.
Well, yeah, I mean people when everybody's got a set of values, it's normal that people hang out with those that are kind of within that set of viewpoints. So, yeah, so
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah. I mean, I smoke pot, things like that, but
Yeah,
I have my medical card. But
same.
I, uh, I'm just like I hate the marijuana culture. I'm
Oh,
not
like
into.
the 420 man,
Yeah, I
smoke
hate
up man. Yeah.
I hate that shit. Um, I don't even like that Rogan talks about it the way he does. It
Or
kind of
yeah, well,
irritates.
the thing that freaks me out is how he's telling everybody to take DMT, which is like,
Hmm.
yeah, no, no, not a good idea. You got to be careful about that stuff because like there are some people that have, you know, a predisposition towards mental illness, and some, you know, even taking edibles could spark
Hmm.
like something really bad. So yeah, I'm a little bit weary about people telling everybody to do that stuff, but I don't know. I'm all about liberty, so to each their own. But you
Oh,
know,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going
but
to stand in
right,
the way of anybody doing anything,
right,
but just keep it to yourself. That's my thing.
yeah,
I
I hear that. But yeah, you know, like I think this was pretty good. It was good to hear your perspective and your side of the story. And you know, if you ever want to come on the podcast to talk with us just about politics or anything else, you're always welcome, man.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, would love to sometime.
yeah, that would
So,
be great. Well, was there anything else you want to talk about? Are you ready to wrap this up?
I think that's it, man. If you guys have any follow questions or anybody has any questions, we can hit the comment section afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. All right. You got anything, Tommy? Or are you good?
Yeah, I should have said this
Oh, go
like
ahead.
half an hour ago, but anyway, yeah, there are basically two kinds of different kinds of personality, and with people specifically. Yeah, of course, with people because personality. And the examples that I would use is for Stefan Molyneux and Owen Benjamin on the one side, and for example, Richard Dawkins and Jordan Peterson on the other side. Stefan Molyneux and Owen Benjamin have a cult of personality not because, but they want this cult of personality. They want to be the big father figure, leader figure. On the other hand, you have the Jordan Peterson and Richard Dawkins types, where they just have crazy fans that elevate them on a pedestal where they really don't belong and don't want to be. Jordan Peterson and Richard Dawkins don't want to be these almost semi saints, basically.
Right.
I mean, it's a scary place to be when you have people kind of worshiping you like that. There's so many expectations placed on you in people's minds, whether you like it or not. And to live up to people's personal expectations it's never possible. So
no,
there's always going to be some kind of a blowout with that. But yeah, I agree. The two different personality types, and the scary one is the Owen Benjamin types. He's got something to prove at that point. And you have something to prove, it's what are you willing to do to prove it?
So. And yeah, and as a reminder, this is not a session to bash on Owen, and it's not all over for this guy. He's got a beautiful family, he's got a house, he's got a lot more than a lot of people have, and he's got people that are willing to support him. And it can't be easy. I don't know how I'd handle being in that situation either. So I'm not trying to make any judgments, but I just kind of wanted to have this conversation just to have sort of a wake-up call, because there's a point I had a few months ago where I was just thinking about, yeah, I'm watching all these people and I think they're so great and so cool. I was like, am I thinking for myself? I was like, oh shit, like I really got to start, I need to start getting out of this mentality, because like it's weird. It's like a weird thing, especially you see this in our culture. You hear about like like the Instagram thoughts and stuff like that, and all these big people, and people are giving them like money and attention. They're getting validation, and then the other person's getting validation if they hear back from them, and it's just like those codependent vibes are just no good, man. So
yep, but it's a scary cycle,
yeah,
man.
Free market.
Yeah, but all right, guys, well, thanks for coming on here.
Thanks for having me,
really
guys.
Great discussion, and we'll be back, and man, you're always welcome on. Okay,
thank you very much.
All right, see